Hey everybody, it's Garrett here with Nordstick. I wanted to break down the back extension. As a sports physical therapist, I see so many people with lower back pain, and they're often hesitant to add any load to their lower back strengthening. I'm gonna show you in this video that it doesn't have to be scary when you're starting off with a back extension, and I'm gonna walk you through a progression, everything I think about when I'm doing a 45-degree back extension, and then also lowering it down all the way to like a 0-degree back extension as well. In this video, I'm gonna have Kristen model for me while I walk through everything about the back extension. So Kristen, could you come on in? So first things first, I just wanted to go a little bit into the design. We have a huge foot plate, bigger than most back extensions. And the reason for this is that way you can get your feet nice and wide and turn them out to get more glute focused if that's what you're looking for. And then you can also bring them back into more neutral for a more balanced approach if you like that as well. If you're feeling any knee discomfort when you're doing a back extension on the Nord bench, all you have to do is increase this up. We made this so that you can put this at a higher angle. That way, when you're doing a back extension, now your knees are gonna be slightly bent when you're doing it, and it should take that posterior knee stress out of it so that you're able to do a back extension. And then if you prefer that tighter, more secure experience, you just lock it down like that and turn that knob. We also have 12 different levels of adjustment. So whether you're 6'8", you can use it, or if you're all the way 5 foot or shorter, you can also use it. So I'm gonna put this at level 4. I think that's about what's right for Kristen. So Kristen, hop on. So what you're looking for is you want the pads to be in line with the hip crease. That way, when you do go all the way down, you're able to go down without your lower back rounding around the pad. So this would be the perfect height for Kristen. Pull back up. If you're just getting started and you wanna make it easier, Kristen, step out. You can put this pad a little bit higher. So Kristen, hop on. And now it's gonna support her more. She's gonna feel less stress in her back. And this is a great entry-level way to start with the back extension. We also have handles on both sides, so Kristen can get some hand support as she's getting comfortable with this movement. But this is where we're gonna start. Usually with individuals, I'll start with an isometric hold. Kristen can rest her hands wherever, and I'm just gonna have her hold in this position. When she can accumulate 1 or 2 minutes, usually 2 minutes is what I look for, then she can hop off the machine and lower down to the preferred height where it's just below her hip crease, and now she can do a back extension with correct form. Now, Kristen's gonna hold this for 1 to 2 minutes. When she can do that, then she's gonna go to the next level, which she's gonna put her hands on the handles and try for 20 assisted back extensions. This is a great way to get started. If you have any discomfort during the back extension, you have your hands to kind of push you out of the movement. Another thing I like about the Nord bench is we only put 1 roller on here so that if you're ever in an uncomfortable position, you can easily step out of the movement. So if Kristen didn't like that, she could just step down, and now she's out of the movement in a safe place where she can figure out what her next step is. Once Kristen can do 20 assisted reps, she's gonna then move to regular back extensions. Now you'll see Kristen's putting her hands across her chest. This is gonna be a great place to start. When this gets easy, she can put her hands behind her head. That's gonna make the back extension even more challenging. And then lastly, if she doesn't have any weight and she wants to make it more challenging, she can put her hands up in a Superman position and it'll make it even harder. So I talked about this in the Nordic curl video, but the reason for this is we're just lengthening the lever arm and we're putting more weight at the end of her body to make more challenge on her glutes, lower back, and hamstrings. So Kristen, now you can rest for a second. Once she can do about 20 body weight back extensions with good form and she feels comfortable, then she can start to begin loading it. So my favorite way to load a back extension is with the band system. So you just clip it in on the front here and then you're ready to go. So Kristen, hop on. Grab onto that with both hands. So why I like with bands is when Kristen's at the bottom of this movement, there's essentially no tension in the band. This is when it's most challenging, and usually most stress on your lower back. So it's not gonna put any extra stress at the more vulnerable position. So when she then pulls up, now this is when the band has the most tension possible, and that's when she's the strongest. There's absolutely no way you can't feel this in your lower back, glutes, and hamstrings when you're at the top of this. It's just a great way to strengthen your entire posterior chain. One thing to think about when you're doing this is a lot of times people will pull that band to their hips, and I want you to avoid that. You want to try to pull that band past your belly button, more to your sternum. When you're doing it, even closer to your chin as you get better. This is just increasing the length of that lever arm, and it's gonna add a lot more challenge to your lower back. When that gets easy, we have 3 different levels of bands. This is the lightest. We also have a red and a black. You can easily add in bands just like you're adding weight to the bar, and she can progress her challenge. So now try it with 2 bands. This should be significantly more challenging. And another thing I like to do when I stack multiple bands is do a drop set. So she'll do a few and then drop a band off, and then she'll do a few and then drop the band off, and then she'll do a few body weight. This is a great way at the end of an exercise or at the end of a workout to just really fatigue your lower back, glutes, and hamstrings. Now, if you didn't have the band system and you wanted to do it with weights, we're just gonna go through a few things there. I kinda highlighted a few with what I just said with the band, but Kristen's now gonna get into a back extension. A lot of times what I'll see is people will hold the weight right under their stomach or their belly button. This is not gonna be that much tension on your lower back, hamstrings, and glutes. It's gonna feel pretty easy. What I want you to try to do is hold the weight, if it's a lighter weight, right under your chin or right at your chest area. This is gonna significantly increase the stress and the challenge that you're experiencing, and it's gonna make 15 pounds feel like a lot more. So you don't need much weight to get a really good lower back, glute, and hamstring workout. So that's a great way to do it. And then just like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, if you wanna switch up the focus to be more glute focused, 2 things that you can do is turn your feet out, which with our super wide foot plate, you're able to do that really easily. You'll feel that more in your glutes. And another way is when Kristen's at the bottom of the movement, relax your shoulders down, round your body, and now pull up, emphasizing your hips. And a cue I like to think about is drive your hips through the pad. Try to compress the foam with your hips, and it should get you to squeeze your glutes more, and you'll feel it more in your glutes. So those are 2 ways to switch the stress more to your glutes. Kristen, take a little bit of a rest. You're probably pretty tired. Next thing I want to talk about is another way to make this more challenging is to decrease the angle. So as you lower the angle on a back extension, you're gonna increase the challenge just because the x-axis is gonna get significantly longer. This is also gonna take a little bit of the challenge off your hamstrings and transition it more to your lower back. Just because when you're in a 45-degree angle like this, just based on where you're gonna feel it most, your hamstrings are gonna be on a greater stretch in that 135-degree range when you're feeling it more in your hamstrings. And as you go lower like this, you're gonna shift that focus more to your lower back. So Kristen, hop on here. Same process, start with isometric holds, just like that. If you wanna make it harder, put your hands over your head. Good. And then put your hands down here on the handles. Do some hand assisted reps. Good. And then when that's easy, then do body weight reps, full, like that. And then hands on your head. Good. And then you can even use the bands. Good. Just like that. Perfect. So this is 25-degree. You can go all the way down to flat with this if you want to focus more on your lower back. I personally prefer the lowest you go to be just 15 degrees. That way you have space to work. If you go too low, your face is gonna be basically on the ground with our machine. So 15 degrees should get the job done. But that's everything with the back extension. Hopefully this video provides you a logical step-by-step process to go from just getting started out when you might not be comfortable with this to being able to really load back extensions with the band system with ease. If you have any questions about getting started, strengthening your lower back, or anything related to the Nord bench, reach out to Garrett at thenordstick.com, and I'd be happy to hop on a call with you and help you so that you feel comfortable with everything. If you have any comments or you would like additional videos in the future where I break stuff down like this, let us know and we'll be sure to film it. But thanks again and enjoy your Nord bench.